So once again, I half jogged, half tripped, and fully got an embarrassing side cramp as I golemed my way back to their front door. Welcome to This Yellow Farmhouse, a podcast by me, Dayna Dyer, a knitting designer and cozy living blogger from an 1834 farmhouse in Illinois. I'm a mom of 3 girls and a cinnamon roll enthusiast with a case of the cozies. This Yellow Farmhouse is for my fellow lovers of all things cozy and for those seeking a simpler, slow life. Welcome back to episode 8 of the podcast. I'm so glad you guys are joining me, and I hope you had a cozy and joyful Christmas and New Year's. If you're a returning listener, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome to the farmhouse. Pour yourself a cup and let's hang out for a little bit. I'm happy that you guys are here, whether you're knitting along with me or putting away Christmas decorations, whatever listening looks like for you right now. I'm glad you guys are here. Just because Santa came and went and presents were open doesn't mean that the magic of the season ends in January or February or even March. So imagine for a minute January 18th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know what day of the week that is. I just pulled the day out from thin air. What are you doing? Are you nestled at home inside with a roaring fire going? Is there a smell of cinnamon and nutmeg just wafting in from the kitchen, warm cookies pulled just from the oven? So when we look at that calendar, the first day of winter here in America is actually only a few days before Christmas. In our minds, it's so easy to see the weeks before the 25th as quote-unquote winter. I'm doing quote fingers here. And then we really get burnt out on the cold and the snow. We miss our gatherings and we miss the smell of cinnamon extract in all that comes out of the kitchen. But in truth, Christmas is just the start of winter, and that actually brings a smile to my face. I hope it makes you guys happy to think that there's so much left of the season left. The turn of a new day or even a new year doesn't erase an entire season. We don't make it to Christmas floating on clouds of comfort and joy, only to drudge through the rest of winter, surviving just one more snowfall. Now, I'm an indoors person, try as I might, and really much to the dismay of my outdoorsy husband and our igloo-building children, I'm much happier curled up in bed with twinkling fairy lights on, knitting amongst the happy bustle of kids coming in and out to play. But my preference for being inside doesn't mean I despise winter. It's actually become my second favorite season behind fall. Now that doesn't mean I close all the curtains and I wait it out until those few magical weeks next December. So how do we fight the winter blues? How do we fight that urge to complain about the cold, close everything up, and just survive winter? The answer is we never finish celebrating Christmas, at least not fully. Sure, take the ornaments off the tree or scrap the whole tree if it's real and looking real sad and dry, but don't take it all down. Last January, I was pregnant, and I had just been told that my unborn baby had a soft marker for Down syndrome. Those last 3 months of consulting and waiting were really hard. I needed every bit of distraction and joy that I could get in those final grueling months of pregnancy, especially with an ultrasound that couldn't be confirmed or denied. So to keep myself distracted from the worry that could take over, to keep the joy in our home and in our family in simple ways that we could, I decided that Christmas just wasn't fully going to be done. We took down the tree, only because it's a live one, but I discovered how easy it is to keep some of the Christmas decor and spirit and joy going all throughout winter. So today I wanted to share with you guys those tips in the hope that whatever you're feeling on this wintry day, you can use any or all of these ideas to keep the cozy going in your house and in your life. So I have 8 ways to keep cozy going after Christmas. And the first way that I have learned is through greenery. So if you can, consider keeping up your tree. Without the ornaments and the colorful lights, it actually represents the evergreens of winter really well. So you can either keep it bare if you want the green color to really capture the room, or There are no rules. Redecorate the tree with a wintry theme. White fairy lights and tiny clear snowflake ornaments or sparkly white tinsel just like oozes winter warmth instead of colorful Christmas cheer. Okay, the second way that I've been doing this is through lighting. So besides your tree, there are probably a lot of other places that you hung lights at Christmas or could hang lights now. Battery-operated lights above the bathroom mirror or tucked on a shelf of yarn and books add so much hygge feelings. It's never too early to start Christmas presents for next year either, so don't be afraid of Christmas knitting like stockings and tree skirts for next year's gifts. Or you could even keep the cozy going in the kitchen with the same Christmas cookie baking energy you had in December. There's no wrong time to eat snickerdoodles or peanut butter blossoms. And cooking hot soups and chili makes me feel like I'm being cozy and super productive. Candles and lamps are another way to keep warm lights in your house, no matter how cloudy or dreary looking the snow can start to look, especially come February. You can turn it around in your mind when you look out the window from a cozy home. So when you're inside looking out. All right, the third way is through winter smells. And it really seems like Christmas comes with a lot of holiday-specific scents, like peppermint, that might feel really strange in February, but there are just as many, if not more, general winter-specific scents that can fill your house through candles, wallflowers, or essential oils. So my favorites that are winter specific: hot chocolate, cranberry, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, cookies, and evergreen. All right, the fourth way to keep cozy after Christmas is to take up or continue a winter hobby. Winter is the warmest time of the year in a way to me. Yes, we have no central air in the summer, but in the winter, there are so many baskets and bags of yarn laying around that the cozy just like travels through the house in every crack. Winter is the time to continue or start a new hobby, especially if you got supplies or gift cards as Christmas gifts. Finding a comfy chair by the fire or by the window, next to some falling snow, curled up with a good book or a snowy Thomas Kincaid puzzle is as cozy as it gets to me. Okay, tip number 5 for keeping cozy after Christmas is to use warm layers. Even though we probably pull them out in September or October, knit blankets and faux fur throws continue to add cozy warmth in February. Special blankets that also really have great meaning bring comfort around Valentine's Day and into the surprise snowy March weekends too. All right, the 6th way to keep cozy is a crackling fire. So whether it's wood burning, gas, or just on your TV screen like I do, fireplaces just exude warmth and coziness. It's on our wish list actually to get a potbelly fireplace in our existing chimney and get it up and running again. Whether it snows or not, you'll keep that warm Christmas feeling all winter long and have a smaller risk of the winter blues and cabin fever. All right, tip number 7, I've got 2 more for you, is hygge reading. Start a cozy reading list. I've been a longtime fan of cozy mysteries, from yarn shop to baking themes. They usually involve lots of coffee, likable sleuths, and charming new crushes, but I was actually just gifted my very first hygge magazines this Christmas that I'm completely hooked on: Bella Grace and Willow and Sage. So Stampington, the company that produces these 2 magazines, has a few other cozy reads, but I'm already sold on the positive and cozy stories of Bella Grace and the homemade bath and body products that I see in Willow and Sage. They're both relaxing reads with beautiful photography and just calming words. The newest cozy issue has everything from unexpected sources of coziness to cozy playlists. So then that leads me to the last way to keep cozy after Christmas, and that's number 8, which is cozy fictional towns. So sometimes when it's all said and done, life is just hard, and if you've tried keeping the cozy after Christmas and are still feeling sort of bummed, look to fictional hygge towns in books, movies, and TV shows. We all need to get lost in another world now and then, and old and new comforting characters, scenery, and stories can do just that. So if this list isn't wintry enough, scrap it and turn some Hallmark Christmas movies back on. I won't tell, promise. Some of the most hygge fictional towns to me are Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls, Pemberley from Pride and Prejudice, Virgin River from Virgin River on Netflix, Bluebell from Heart of Dixie, and Serenity from Sweet Magnolias. When I tell you that these 8 simple steps to not fully be finished with Christmas transformed our winter, I say it with so much joy and gratification. Life is hard, winter is hard, but a winter that's celebrated on the foundation of Christmas coziness is done with so much love. They say one word can warm 3 months of winter. What can more Christmas spirit do to 3 months of winter? I mentioned that our Christmas tree has to be taken down every year after Christmas. Some of you, especially those who don't get live trees, might wonder what we do with the tree after Santa's been here. We don't live in the city or the suburbs. There's no Christmas tree collection where we can conveniently leave it at the curb to be picked up, which, coming from growing up in the suburbs, is what I'm used to January looking like. Snowy streets lit by street lights and little bits of green Christmas trees poking out at the end of every few driveways. Here in the woods, in the country, we actually compost our tree. Sounds super off-griddy, right? It did to me the first time my husband mentioned the word compost to me. But what it really is this. After we take down the ornaments and lights and promise the girls we'll get another one next year, my husband drags the tree out to the backwoods where it can become a shelter for the rabbits and birds. I can't even tell you how many walks through our woods past last year's Christmas tree have brought a smile to all of our faces. It's not just any old fallen tree, it's our tree. The tree we decorated together well, singing and dancing, the tree that Santa stepped under, and here it is, staying out of the landfill and keeping our spirits up for the entire year until we pick out a new one. So today I see our tree outside my window, just past the garden on the other side of the tree line. A little pile of green and joyfulness giving us the feeling of warm Christmas magic. And that extended Christmas feeling makes me feel cozy. Another thing that's given me a case of the cozies is something Santa left under, or rather next to, that Christmas tree on Christmas morning, a dollhouse. This dollhouse is special. It was gifted by a friend who went out on a limb for me and not only found, but picked up an old-fashioned free dollhouse because she remembered that I had been looking back in the fall. This dollhouse is so cool, and it comes with a fun story. So the former owner said he and his wife spent weeks building it 20-some years ago for their girls. Now, all grown up, they wanted to pass it along to someone else who would love it and kind of appreciate its uniqueness. And you know what my friend said her first thought was when she saw it? Dayna likes bringing life back into old houses, and so that's what we're going to do. The girls have already decided that we should paint the outside a similar shade of yellow as we have on our yellow farmhouse. And each room is going to be given a pretty farmhouse but girly makeover. This isn't my project after all. I could go crazy, but this is where the girls can really flex their design muscles and help pick out paint colors and scrapbook paper patterns for walls. I think they can even help cut fabric pieces for curtains and rugs. The ideas are just overflowing and we're all really excited. I love that my dear friend thought of me, and the girls love that they can use their imagination designing and playing in their very own miniature yellow house. I'm such a sucker for things like that, those nostalgic feelings of being loved and feeling special. I also love giving that. I'm learning that my love language has become gift giving. So for today's Homebody in the Wild segment, I'm taking you on a secret road trip that I took last week. So let me rewind to last Monday. My sister and I had our usual play date, followed by homemade pizza and snowflake ice cream cones, courtesy of Aldi. In my excitement over finding these and immediately planning them as a playdate dessert for the girls, I never even read how many were in the box. Not enough for me and my sister, it turns out. It bugged me all day that I didn't plan ahead. I acted on impulse, and as a result, my ice cream loving sister didn't even get to eat any. So the next day, I searched not one, but 2 different Aldis until I found more snowflake ice cream cones. I almost did a happy dance right there in the frozen aisle. Then I hopped in my car and I drove an hour to my sister's house. I parked 2 doors down and half jogged, half tripped my way to her front door to silently drop off the bow-topped box of ice cream. I resisted the urge to act like a little kid again and ding-dong dish them because, sleeping babies and working husbands and all that. And then I giggled my way back to the car, only to realize I forgot to drop off the bag of yarn I also wanted to give her. You see, I had given her a Fair Isle hat that I'd knit up in gray, fisherman, and Cal, Woolies Thick and Quick. But it didn't have a pom-pom, so I promised her a bag of all 3 color choices for her to pick from. So once again, I half jogged, half tripped, and fully got an embarrassing side cramp as I golemed my way back to their front door. It was only after I drove away that I sent the check your front door message. And I'm sure the whole thing was really comical to her neighbors, and who knows if my brother-in-law saw the whole thing out the front office window. But I'm glad that I had the adventure and could bring a smile to her face. Sisters are always worth getting side cramps for and being laughed at. This homebody in the wild adventure also led me to the promise that I'm going to do more impromptu gift-giving drop-offs, whether it's for family, friends, or neighbors. We all love getting boxes on our doorstep and opening up the good mail, right? So I'm already planning my next Gollum-style sneaky delivery. This time, pancake bread. Because you guys, I joed Trader Joe's. Well, I baked a copycat pancake bread recipe anyway. My mom gave me a printed out from scratch recipe before Christmas. And you guys, it didn't disappoint. Now, I'm not saying I won't make this bread every week, but it was so simple and tasty that every other week isn't out of the question, especially if it's something I can front porch gift to others. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm so grateful that you're coming to hang out and knit with me or fold laundry or whatever it is you're doing while you listen and watch. I'm seriously forever grateful for the kind things you have to say about the filming style, how it's a little different, the things that move you or really resonate with you. If you have a minute, please consider leaving a comment, even just to say, hey, I love reading them and I reply to as many as I can. And if you want to see more episodes like this, like and subscribe, please. This also really helps others discover and watch episodes. And I really love that I can give some comfort to someone who's feeling extra lonely, laughs to someone who's imagining the stories I tell, and sighs of relief to someone who's just glad that there's someone else out there putting words to their feelings. I'd also really like to invite you guys to join my email list. I send an email once a month, usually at the beginning of the month. That's so cozy and so full of ideas that you won't find anywhere else from me. It's also where I share the first news of new pattern releases and sales, new products. So if you want a monthly dose of cozy and warmth sent to you, click the link in the description to get that invitation. Thank you guys so much for letting me be in your ears today. And today and every day, stay cozy.